Hey, welcome everybody. It's time to get started on Bollox Talks and Tangents. Lenny's over there readjusting the furniture. We might need a furniture moving sponsor after that episode there. That was not the most attractive look. You actually had a painful look on your face as you were hopping with your chair.
Well, I was bringing the chair with me.
Yes, you did. You did a fine job.
2 men in a truck.
You did a fine job. But it's Thursday, 6:34. It's time to get going. We're talking about Subways tonight. You have a little bit more Subway experience than Blake and I.
I do.
Blake and I have a more recent Subway experience.
Yes, you do.
So it all balances out.
2 of them, as a matter of fact.
I almost have as much written down as you do, which scares the hell out of me.
I can fill in the blanks. Worry not.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of interesting little factoids because I figured you went deep on the history side, so I went to the factoid side.
Okay.
All right. Just because, not saying that I might know a little bit about your thinking process, but I think
you're getting there. You're getting there, which I would think you should be very frightened of.
It's a very frightening experience, but you know what, Lenny? It's always, and this was a fun one for me.
Yeah,
I learned a lot in this dive. And what we do is we usually decide on Tuesday night at trivia which way we're going to go with the topics.
Came in second this week.
Yeah, you got the silver medal.
Yes, we did.
So, but this one we decided we were going to do trains and subways. We're like, nope, that's too much.
Right.
Let's just do subways, and thank goodness we did.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Our bourbon of the week, you picked it today, so I'm going to let you talk about the bourbon.
Knob Creek is just absolutely one of my favorite. It's delicious. It's smooth. Cheers into your health, my good friend. And it's nice because it's got some pop to it. It's
100
a mere 100 proof.
100 proof.
Boy, I think they dumbed it down a touch. 50% alcohol by volume, so it's 50% alcohol, 50% water.
Yep.
And all sorts of goodness. Yeah, it's delicious.
Stuff.
It's delicious.
It's good stuff.
It really is.
Cannot lie. That is good stuff there.
When I was working up in Maine 3 years ago, man, I was drinking that every night. Yeah. Went through bottles of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I wish we could kind of see our bar and our dead soldiers. We have dead soldiers over here in this area, and then we have our open bar, which is it's only about 40 bottles.
It's a nice collection. They're primarily whiskeys.
Yes, it's primarily whiskeys, mostly St. Augustine Distillery, which is the first sponsor we're going to talk about.
Boy, they're good.
And City Gate Spirits. They just take care of us. They do such a wonderful job over there in those 2 locations. Will and Phil and Mike and the entire crew over there. They're always in the community. One thing I do love about all our sponsors care about St. Johns County and St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And I can't say anything more about St. Augustine Distillery and City Gate Spirits, but they're in the mix. Any fundraiser that's out there, anything, they are participating and making our city better.
You know, since St. Augustine Distillery got here, the impact they've had on the town, but how they've grown and how they established themselves. I know it's a tourist community, and a lot of the best this, best that, nationwide is done by volume of tourism.
Yeah.
But, man, they've done great because you got to realize that if you're here with your family, you're not taking the kids to the St. Augustine Distillery tour.
Yeah.
So that's adults only for the most part, I would presume. And they have just, from the minute they got here, they did it right. They evolve. And their product, and I say this every week, and I say this with great sincerity, their product just gets better and better and better. Their whiskeys in particular.
They're refining their craft.
Yep.
Every single time they put a new product out there. Super excited about the new rum they're going to have.
I'm looking forward to that, yeah.
I told you I got a little sneak peek of that.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. You know what I am looking forward to, and I haven't been back since the renovations? Mehans.
Oh,
you have.
I have.
You were there a day after they opened
last Thursday.
Yeah. So, and I saw you use my little hack.
Oh yeah, baby.
Was
The,
good call.
the
Good
chicken
call,
fingers.
right?
Yeah, they're not chopped up. They're regular chicken finger size, but
yep.
delicious. Yep, absolutely.
So, there,
You know?
I mean, that's
I can be
that's-
childlike. It was on the child's menu. I can be childlike.
It's a great hack.
Mm-hmm.
But Meehan's located right there on Avenida Menendez. Just a beautiful view. 3 bars in one. Reggie and his entire crew over there. I did do a walkthrough. I had a friend who was having a birthday last night.
Yeah.
I did a walkthrough and said happy birthday to them, and then I just kept on going. But
Yeah.
I haven't actually had a meal there since the renovations. So
It's good, and they've added a couple of new things to the spec. They have a. I just saw today's post. They have a hot roast beef sandwich that looks fabulous. I don't know if it'll be around for a little while, or if it's just a special, but that looked tempting as well. Yeah, no, it's just a wonderful place. Inside, outside, live music, upstairs, oysters, staff, views. What can I say?
yeah, it's all just great over there. And again,
Community
part of the
oriented.
community base.
Absolutely.
All right, Abear Kresge and Associates. Just the best in town as far as CPAs go.
He's very tall, by the way.
Yeah,
he's very tall.
He's not my shortest friend.
No, he's very tall.
He's not my. He's 6'7" at least.
Whew.
So, which I'm really close to that because I'm
Right.
5'7".
Right.
It used to be 5'8". Now I'm 5'7".
Well, it's gravity.
Yeah. It's a little compression. I need to go to space to get taller.
Oh,
But-
take me.
But if you're starting a business, if you're doing anything and you're trying to run your own books, give these guys a call. They're the best out there. You have a nonprofit. They handle everything for Home Again.
Very nice of
They
them.
just do such a wonderful job. And if you're running a nonprofit and you need an audit, they can do audits also. So anything in the accounting world, they can do it. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Now, you and I both love this place.
Very much. Very much.
I just love the information. I can sit at the touch tablet and read for hours. I mean, there's so much information. You can't do this in one trip. You'll be entertained, and you're going to go there until the person who's with you is like, I'm hungry.
Right.
I got to go. But 800 original artifacts. One of the Jolly Rogers, I think there's only 2 or 3 in the entire
Yep.
world.
And they have one.
And they have one of the originals, and just an amazing job. We actually got this museum from Key West.
Yep.
And do you remember what Key West was called before it was called Key West?
No.
Blake, look this up because I want to make sure I'm right, but I think it was called Thompson Island.
Did not know that.
So
I know that Harry Truman's poker table is there.
Yeah, in Key West.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was his Southern White House.
So it's him.
Was on the naval base there, Coast Guard or naval base there. He had a bungalow there, and that's where he had a poker table, and he would play poker with his cronies.
Well, I
Yeah.
think was it Thompson's Island?
Yeah, Thompson Island is nearly 5 acres, and it's the only private island with direct access to A1A by a bridge.
Okay.
That was part of Key West, right?
Yeah, and it's
that was Key West.
right now it's selling for $8 million if you want to buy it.
Oh, it's an actual island you can buy?
Yeah, then
Wow.
like the entire property you can buy for $8 million.
Hang on,
now I'm
and there's a
confused.
bridge to Key West there.
Let's see, pulling up.
I thought
I'm
Key
putting
West was Thompson's Island.
I'm buying it
I
and
would
putting a
buy-
toll bridge.
I would buy it for $5 million if I had $5 million.
Yeah, and then we put a toll there and
I know
recoup.
friends that would help.
We recoup with a
All right,
toll.
Blake, I think, found out some more stuff. And to the mic, buddy, I can't. These booth people don't talk into the mic.
I'm telling you,
This morning, I don't
producers.
know if you saw the morning show.
Not today. No, I didn't.
Yeah, so here's Thompson Island. It's just that little area right there.
And they want $8 million for that.
I swear, I think Key West was like how Calford was became Jacksonville. I think I read that somewhere, but I guess this is the one that's actually for sale. Not sure how we got so far off guard. Because we were talking
It's
about
us.
Pirate Museum, and that's what we do.
Right.
And we went on a tangent. I'm gonna have to research islands. Oh gosh, this show.
Well, that could be next week's topic.
All right, today we had lunch at what was the name of this place? I heard it's
Kaiser's.
a great place to eat.
Kaiser's Deli and Market. Man, that was good.
Oh, such a good sandwich.
I tweaked Blake's legendary White Street to make it. I forewent the bacon, put in some sweet peppers, changed the smoked Gouda for the Havarti Swiss. So very it has no relationship to the White Street.
I was
It
gonna
was
say,
just
it's
close,
no
right.
longer called White
No,
Street.
not at all.
Yeah.
But it was
It's
good,
now like
man.
Gray Street.
Julia, the lovely Julia, pressed it up for me. It was delicious.
No, it was such a good lunch. And
Yeah.
I did the potato salad for the first time.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yep.
I liked it. It was a solid potato salad.
He's got a whole collection of potato salad, buffalo chicken spread, onion dip. He's got some dips in the case
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So all sorts of stuff for snacking or to take home
Looks
for.
like he had a hummus in there, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I saw that maybe I've made hummus there before. Yeah.
No. All right. Coquina Coast Realty. If you have any residential, you have any commercial needs, you're looking for rental properties, you're looking for office space, I have office space available right now in 2 different locations, multiple different size office space, and I have a 1-bedroom apartment available right downtown in walking distance of everything. You don't even need a car.
Right. It's
All
a
right.
very walkable city.
Yes, very walkable. Last but definitely not least, Cheshire Custom and Collision. You have any dings, anything like that? These guys do the best paint job. They have the state-of-the-art paint shop
booth.
and paint booth. They have a station where you can bake your car. So if you ever wanted to bake a baked beetle,
I might have to bring my car in there because some woman keyed my car in the Big Lots parking lot. This goes back many, many, many months. Parked next to them. There was a woman sitting in the car. I get out, and I'm very conscious of these things. So I open the door. Do not touch the car. You know, my mirror was closed. Did not touch the car. Closed the door. Woman was still sitting there. I come out, and there's a gouge in my door from that, and I'm sure it was the person in that car.
wow.
Rude.
That's
Just rude.
That's just rude. All right, we got so much to talk about. We kind of
come
need
on.
to jump right into it.
Let's get underground.
We got some word origins.
Okay.
I don't even know what yours is. You didn't give me a clue on what yours was.
No, but you know, when I can, I try to link to our subject. So today's subject is subways.
Okay.
So my word origin is sandhogs.
Sandhogs. I don't
Sandhogs.
know what a sandhog is.
Well, if you're from New York, you know who the sandhogs are.
Okay.
The sandhogs, that's local 147 for you union workers at home. Solidarity, brothers. They are urban miners who work underground.
Okay.
And they started in the late 1870s. These were the guys that would go into the caissons, which were these tubes that were pressurized so they could work underwater.
Oh.
And they would dig and do the foundations for initially the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah.
So
Didn't the guy who created the Brooklyn Bridge die of the bends?
that might have been Roebling, I think.
Yeah,
Was it Roebling? Was the Brooklyn Bridge?
And his son finished it,
Yep.
and then he
Yep.
actually even had some issues with the bends.
Well, here you go. They got the name because the workers were digging in the sandy bottom of the East River, so they were sandhogs. The biggest detriment to sandhogs is caissons workers disease, and it's a Benz-like disease of the lungs. It's based on pressure and depressurization. So they'd go into these tubes that were pressurized with airlocks and down and down and down and down. They would do the foundation work. These are also the guys that dug the tunnels for the subways.
Yes.
Dug the water lines for the aqueducts for bringing New York City all its water. I don't necessarily know that they're in other places, but they're very, very prominent in New York. I mean, they've really kept New York going between the subways, the aqueducts, the water transmission tunnels, bridge foundations for buildings. It's amazing what they do. So sandhogs was my word in relationship to our subway trip today.
All right, I like it. And I went under also because I think of subway as being under, and I went under the weather.
Okay, I hope you're feeling better.
I went under the weather, and I am feeling better. And I wanted to find out where it was from and what the origin. And when we do a lot of these word origins, there's usually a couple of different ones. And the one that was the most prevalent was a nautical term where if you weren't feeling well, you couldn't really do work up on the deck, and if it was raining or something like that, you would go below deck and recover. So you go to your bunk and you recover. So you were under the weather. You were below deck. You were under the deck, and you were below deck.
Makes perfect sense.
And then it turned into being not. It started with not feeling well as a sailor. It ended up being not doing so well financially. My bank account's under the weather, or just in general, the Chicago White Sox are a little under the weather because they're not doing well.
Not at all. Not right now. They just broke a record.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not. They're not doing well at all.
Yeah.
So under the weather, and it started with a nautical term of sailors not feeling well, and they retreated to their bunks below deck.
And you know how happy it makes me when our word origins don't revert back to Shakespeare?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's so many of them.
Just saying.
There's so many of them.
No offense, Dead Will.
Yeah, Willie. He prefers Willie.
Okay.
So Bobby said, I guess for Key West, Ko Hoso. How do you say that when you look in the comments? Here you go. I'll show it to you right here.
Kaya-Hueso.
Kiowaso? Kiowaso
Yeah.
or Bone Island.
Okay.
I guess.
Hueso is bone in Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, all
Yeah.
right.
Bone key, right? Yeah.
Okay. So, and I've been to Calwreck Beach, which is all cow bones. I guess they use cow bones, crushed up cow bones as fertilizer in the
Okay,
Caribbean back in the day.
All right.
And shipwreck wrecked, and all the cow bones came across in that particular portion of Anegada.
Davida.
No, not Davida.
Well, it's a long song.
It is a long song, but no, that's not it.
Right.
It's
Okay.
the island of Anegada in
Right.
British Virgin Islands. All right. So I'm going to let you start because
Okay.
I think you went history. I went more of like how I can turn this into a trivia question.
Okay,
Which is
well.
how my brain works a lot of times.
Well, then you're gonna want to look at this list when we get there later.
Okay.
All right. The first subway, if we're going to go history, was the London Underground.
Okay.
1863 it opened. Second longest subway in the world. And this is the one we were talking earlier. This is the one where they did open construction and then they covered it over afterwards.
cut and cover.
Right, yeah. So they dug it out and then they rebuild the roads and stuff over it after the fact, which is kind of interesting because I guess there wasn't much there because otherwise you have to evict people and use eminent domain, which I don't know what it would be in England to get people out of there.
That's what they used in Boston when they did
Big Dig?
The
Yeah.
first one
Oh,
in
God,
the
the Big
first
Dig.
one in the U.S. they used cut and cover.
Okay.
Which was the first officially won as the first subway in the United States.
Well, I have Boston
There's a lot
in
of arguments.
1890. Oh, in the United States. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
the
fine.
United
Well,
States.
the L in Chicago, 1892.
Yeah.
I got
But that
Boston.
wasn't underground, though.
I got. Well, it is and it isn't.
But the L portion in '92 was just
Elevated,
That's how it got
right.
its L name.
Right,
But
exactly.
now it has
Which is,
some
by the way,
other-
not even EL. It's just the L.
Yeah.
Which
But it was elevated as well.
correct, exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right there. But there's a lot of it underground now.
Now it
Yeah,
is,
especially
yeah.
downtown, and when you come out of O'Hare, man,
I watched
Go to Chicago.
I watched a 15-minute video of the timeline of subways that came through the world last night.
Okay.
And it got to be like, they were bouncing from Chicago to, there's, people don't know, there's one line in Miami. I didn't even know there was a
Yeah.
subway in Miami. There's one in
I
LA.
learned that today. Yeah, the red line.
So I have the northernmost, the southernmost, all those
Yep,
type of,
okay,
type
I got
of
you.
questions that I can
Yeah.
ask in trivia.
Okay, good. I'm in.
Yeah, but you're going to do great when I ask these.
I hope so. 'Cause if I don't, I'll be terribly embarrassed.
But London was the very first one.
Yep, 1863, second longest in the world.
And I found it very interesting how it was powered.
Yeah.
It was powered by steam power. So where did the steam go?
Interesting. Maybe a little humid in there?
Yeah.
Because now
did
most
they
of
not
them are
die?
electric. Now they're mostly third rail
Now-
electric.
Now they're third rail electric.
Yeah.
Most of it don't touch the third rail.
No.
But the one in London, the original one in London before it was electric was steam powered.
Interesting.
In 1863, and
Okay.
I was
Well, that makes sense.
In my mind, I was going, "Where's that steam going?"
Well, it's London. They had very poor air quality forever.
Already.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this. Blake and I went to New York City.
Yeah.
And we went to D.C.
Yeah.
this past weekend. As soon as we get here, the quality of air is so much different and so much better. I mean, you when you're in New York City, you go, it smells like New York.
Right.
When you're Washington has its own smell.
Okay. If you've ever been in New York in August in Chinatown during a garbage strike, you ain't smelled nothing, brother.
It was the shortest strike in the history, wasn't it? Where it was only like 7 days, and it piled up so bad.
It's literally walls of black
Yeah.
plastic garbage bags. Fascinating, but man, you want to talk rank? Oh,
But
God in heaven.
I don't know why those guys couldn't ask for more.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Talk about having them by the short
it
hairs.
was,
Yeah.
it was literally one of the shortest strikes of all time in New York
Yep.
City.
Yep.
So, Yeah. All right. All right. So one of the things, and I'll throw these at you in between your facts there. London was the oldest.
Yep.
And original. How many lines? Do you know how many lines there were originally? Was it
Originally,
8?
I'm not sure. No. That
Or was
I
it
mean, I
just
have
the
it, but I
one?
don't know.
Like-
Yeah.
like
No, it's not just
Boston-
one. They kept
Boston
going.
claimed in the U.S., but they only had one short run that only
And that
ran
was
like
at
3 blocks.
right,
Yeah.
Tremont Street.
Yeah.
That was Boston Tremont Street, and that was in like 1897.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So New York City has the most stations.
most stops,
Most
Yep.
stations. So,
472 of them.
okay, I had 424.
472 at last count.
What does that say on your notes?
424. What does it say on this side? Huh. Well, you're not the only dyslexic man in this room, especially when it comes to numbers.
Because I actually looked over and said, "Oh, he's got that same fact,"
Yeah.
and I had the same.
472 there.
Okay.
Depends on which side of.
Yeah.
See, that was from a different source.
I had 4. I have 424. So
Different source.
I'm renaming Key West. We're adding an extra 50.
We'll just make it up as we go.
We're adding an extra 50 stops.
There's over 400 stops in the New York City subway system.
Just
I'll
go
tell you
with it
that.
has the most.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So
that's too funny.
You can only believe like.
And by
half
the way,
what you hear.
$2.90 for one ride is now the price is $2.90 for a subway ride in New York City, and this is a New York City subway token, which had changed over time because every time they raised the fare in New York, that it changed the tokens. So there were some tokens that had a Y cut in it, so it was hollow in the center or cut out in the center. Constantly changing the
So
tokens.
you just drop this in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a coin operated machine.
Yeah. And then you go through the turnstile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now they have a much better system as far as payment goes
Yeah.
than Washington, D.C.
Thank you, sir.
So, used to you had to get a Metro card and all that stuff or whatever it is, a subway card.
Yeah, those are.
And then
you gotta-
So you don't have to do that anymore. All you do is tap your debit card or your credit card right to it. You walk through and it shows right up on your bill.
It's a breeze, and
Yeah.
Chicago has that now too.
Okay.
And man, the L in Chicago is just, Chicago. You fly into O'Hare,
Mm-hmm.
and to get into town, $5 on the L, which starts underground and then goes above ground. And if you take the blue line, which is my friends live off the blue line, it's brilliant. Julie and I get into town for $10, and it's easy. It's delightful. You don't get too much scenery, but every now and again, once you get elevated, you're literally feet from people's bedrooms and buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. We did not ride the L when we were in Chicago.
Go back.
And when we
Maybe
go
the White Sox will
when we
win.
go to the White Sox game, we're going to wait until they're a little bit better.
A couple of years from now, I
yeah.
suppose.
But next year, I believe what we're doing, and I don't know if you saw this. Next year, the Cincinnati Reds are playing the Atlanta Braves at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we think that might be the one we're going to do. If we don't, we might do Philly and
Bristol Motor Speedway is where?
It's in
Said
the
a
northern part
non-NASCAR
of
guy?
It's in the northern part of Tennessee, right on the Tennessee-Kentucky border. Actually,
Okay.
Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee, it all kind of comes together.
Close to your parents?
About 2 hours north of my parents.
So you're going to tell them that you're going to go there, or you're not going to tell them?
We'll see how they behave.
All right.
Sometimes they behave, sometimes they don't.
That sounds like an RV trip.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because there is no real hotels in
Okay.
Bristol.
Really? They have a motor speedway there.
Yeah, but you got to go.
Oh, because everybody RVs.
Yeah, everybody RVs,
Yeah.
tents, and drives in that day.
Okay.
So, and it's just one of those places that makes it unique. So it makes
Well, an
makes
event.
for a fun trip.
Right. It's not just a baseball game. It's an event.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think
That's exciting.
I think that might be our stop
Okay.
next year. Blake, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do want to say like definitely going to Bristol is like the number one thing right now because we missed out on the Field of Dreams game when the Reds played there in Iowa.
Yeah.
But definitely. Bye, Amanda.
Amanda's leaving from the other studio.
There you go.
She just popped up like one of those whack-a-moles.
Exactly. Don't whack Amanda. She's lovely.
Yeah, but definitely that like going to like a unique.
Right.
Please don't turn off that light, Amanda. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
So, Yeah, but so we think that's probably next year's trip.
Okay.
If we don't do that, we're probably going to do Philly and Baltimore.
Camden Yards is a great
really-
ballpark.
I
like
really,
Baltimore.
really have enjoyed our train rides.
Yeah.
Because we took the train from New York City to D.C.
Sure.
this time last year. We took it from New York to Boston. And I really enjoyed the train rides because you can look out, you can see the different cities, as you go through them.
Yep.
Like we went through Baltimore, we went through a lot of different places, went through New Jersey, we went through, so many really
Get up, stretch your legs.
cool. You can get up, you can go to the cafe car if you want to do it. You can have a conversation with the people sitting around you. And I like sitting in the ones where we're facing each other.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
know, and just enjoying your time together. So I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy
Yeah.
train.
But-
I can tell you this, I was looking at train rides to like Savannah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
some of those, and it's incredibly inexpensive
Really?
Yeah.
to go from Palatka because you got
Well, you got to go to Palatka or,
you gotta pick
or
it up-
Jacksonville. Yeah, Palatka.
or DeLand.
Yeah. Oh, well.
They have a
Palaka's closer.
yeah, the cooler station in DeLand though.
I don't
Yeah,
doubt that.
but-
Everything's cooler in DeLand.
Yeah, it's cooler.
Especially if you have a fan.
But let's say though, but what makes the Amtrak experience better is how good your conductor is. If because our Amtrak conductor on the New York trip was a little bit mean per se.
Oh yeah, the porter he was
Ooh.
angry.
Really?
He was just an angry person.
Get off the seat.
I had
Foot
my
off
feet-
the
I had my
seat.
feet on the seat. Get your
Really?
feet down.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then right after he said it, he almost fell. Which
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
and he was almost about 400 pounds. He was a big dude.
Oof.
He was a big dude. So if he had fallen on those people, it would have been trouble. So and I don't think I could have got him off of him. So, but no, it was almost
Oh,
ironic.
Mr. I bench press 400 pounds.
No, I didn't bench press 400 pounds. I said 225. Huge difference. Huge difference.
For those of you who didn't watch the Mike Davis show, that was pertinent.
Yeah. that was when I had muscles.
Okay.
Those have gone. So I think I still do 30 push-ups.
All right. So,
Yeah.
pick another subway, any subway.
All right. The northernmost.
Helsinki, Finland.
Good job.
I do my homework.
Yeah. Good
Southernmost.
Southernmost. I'm going to cheat. Buenos Aires.
Correct window.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Buenos Aires.
Absolutely.
The deepest.
Ah, see, this is timely.
Okay.
Because the law of unintended consequences. The London Underground became very, very integral to the survival of the people that lived in London during the Blitz, because they used the underground as air raid shelters.
Yes.
So the sirens would go off, and if you had any chance to get there, you would go and you would get into an underground station and into the tunnels for the underground during the Blitz in London.
Yes.
The reason I'm saying that is because the deepest underground station in the world is Arsenalina, which is in Kyiv in the Ukraine.
Is it
so
Kyiv or Kiev?
It was Kiev when I was younger. It's Kyiv now.
It's Kyiv? Okay.
Kyiv.
Yeah,
And when I'm looking at the
I think
spelling,
I
I
said
can buy
Kiev.
it.
I think I said Kiev for an answer at trivia, and they're like, "No, it's Kyiv," and I was like, "I've never heard that."
Okay, but I don't know anybody who's ever called it chicken Kyiv. It's chicken Kiev, which
Yeah.
is a classic dish of chicken with a ham and a butter stuffing, breaded fried, and then when you cut into it, that beautiful butter oozes out of it.
Yeah.
That's not chicken Kyiv. That's chicken Kiev.
Kiev,
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, and I'm thinking
How deep is the one in Kiev?
it is. It was built in 1960. It's 107 meters, which now at the Olympics is so annoying. I have to translate everything from meters into feet.
107 meters.
351 feet.
It's actually more than that if it's 100. Oh, 107. not
107. No,
170.
107.
Okay.
107.
All right.
351.
You
Yep.
you said 107, and in my head, I was calculating 170. So,
Nobody should trust our numbers ever here on this show.
424.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, and they said it takes sometimes as much as 5 minutes to get down to that point in
Look.
Kyiv.
Yeah. Kyiv, correct. Yeah.
Kyiv subway.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of subway stations in New York, and I don't know which ones you got into or got out of, but there's some where you're getting off of the platform and you're looking like this, and it's, as close to freaking vertical as you're going to find coming up some of those escalators. If you do the stairs, you're going to die. You're just heart's gonna explode.
We
But
did
some of
the
these
stairs
escalators
every
are
time.
amazing.
We did the stairs every time.
Well, then you were not in. I want to say it was an E train on like 51st or 53rd Street.
53rd, yeah, that's the one we were
Wait, hold
on.
on
Yeah, that's
a minute.
exactly where we're at.
So,
We did END.
hold on.
The
So,
E train was great when
Yes,
I
yeah, so-
used to have a girlfriend in Queens.
so the stop we primarily used was 7th Avenue, 53rd Street. So the stairs wasn't as bad on there, but I believe like there's like some like
There's a couple that
bad
were just
ones.
massive.
Yeah.
You know, when I lived in the
But
city,
remember, my elevator hasn't been working for a month. It's now working.
Right, at the
in my
at the
building.
Treasury.
I had
Yeah,
to
okay.
Climb to the roof several times to get people out of the elevator. I actually had to call Blake one time last week.
Come save them.
From the studio to get my friend David Upchurch out of the elevator.
Okay.
And I talked him through how to reset the elevator, and we were able to get David out from the phone. So Blake is officially an elevator technician.
An elevator repairman. Good for you. Maybe we call you Otis?
Those stairs were rough.
He's young.
The elevators that are there actually are originally Otis elevators. These are the new ones now are Elitech, but we make a joke about it that Mr. Otis put those in himself.
Personally. Yeah.
So even though he died like 30 years before the elevators in.
That's why they're not
Treasury
working so well.
went down,
Hey, look, I've been saying for years that Treasury building is haunted. Now it's haunted by Mr. Otis.
Yeah.
If I go back to doing tours, I'm adding that in. That's it.
Yeah, but no one jumped out during the
Oh,
1929
stop.
crash.
They did on my tours.
On your tours, they did.
Especially coincidentally when I would do a tour on October 28th, 29th, and I'd be there.
Black Tuesday or
Yep.
whatever it was.
And I'd be in front of the Treasury. I'm going, "Did you see that? Did you see that?" No, I wasn't that
Well,
bad.
you're probably one of those people that said that Ponce de Leon was 4'11".
We have him at 5'1", but still.
Yeah.
Apparently they stretched him out when they dug him up. I have to look that up. We talked about
they
that.
exhumed
Yeah.
his body.
Yeah.
When they were doing the statue for the Leon Springs, and like I said, my grandfather who was 5'7", 5'8", about the same size as me, probably pretty much the same frame as me now, because I put on some pounds. But he basically was the model for Ponce de Leon statue.
It might be an accurate size. It might be he was just too handsome and they needed somebody to be the model.
Blake, see if you can find the statue of De Leon Springs Park. Ponce de Leon statue of De Leon Springs Park.
And then how tall was Ponce de Leon?
Yeah. Well,
Meanwhile-
it references, if you put that in,
Right.
it says 4'11", but it's reference to the tour guides of St. Augustine.
Well, sorry for those of you scoring at home. Maybe I had some influence on this.
Yeah. So it's reference.
And
to
you know how he died?
probably something with diphtheria or something like that.
No. He got shot in the ass with a poison arrow.
I think I did know that.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting the name of it. There's a tree that it grows in Florida. Haba.
Not a eucalyptus or anything.
No. It's something with an M, and it's got an apple, and it's the sap will get. This tree will get you any which way but Sunday. The sap will get you if the sap drops on you, you get dermatitis, and the natives would carve arrows out of the thing, and he got
Blake's pulling it up right there. Okay, I think
411.
I think you got a black.
Oh, I can see 411 on that screen.
That's the St. Augustine one. That's exactly what I was saying.
Which is why I like to
That's
drape my arm right around him and feel tall.
And what is your source there, Blake? Reddit?
Was that the tour guide quiz for St. Augustine? Because you have to pass a test to be a tour guide in St. Augustine.
But they had recently exhumed the body, and this is when I got up here and I heard that. I was just like, that's not right. My grandfather was taller than 4'11".
And where was he? He was buried. They exhumed it in Puerto Rico. Is where he was
I believe
buried,
it was in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So I believe it was in Puerto Rico.
So yeah.
So,
But yeah, he got shot in the thigh. You know, when I tell the stories, it's nicer to say he got shot in the ass. Yeah.
In the glute.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a poison arrow. And the indigenous population here was smart. They stayed away from them. The fruit was poisonous. The sap dripping on you is poisonous. The leaves were not good. And the wood itself could be poisonous.
Yeah.
And it's something that starts with an A. It's not like Manalapan, but it's something like that.
Okay. Yeah, and I think he from his navigator's logs, he landed somewhere in South Ponte Vedra, between Villano and South Ponte Vedra, is where they think he actually came aboard for the first time. So, all right, we got to go over sponsors real quick. Cheshire's Custom and Collisions, they are the best at putting your car back together. Give them a call over there at Cheshire's Custom and Collisions, located right off of Holmes Boulevard. Coquina Coast Realty, give me a call, 904-669-7901. Commercial, residential, let me know if you need any of those needs. I'll help you, talk you through the process. Kaiser's Deli and Market, we ate there today. They
so
did
good.
An amazing meal over there, Kaiser's. Appreciate you guys so much, and thanks for being a part of the team. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, they've been a part of our team since the very beginning, since the first show of Bollox. They are a perfect fit with us. They are community-based, and they are an absolute amazing museum if you haven't been there. Abear Kresge and Associates, wonderful CPAs. They keep me out of trouble, and that's not easy to do when it comes to accounting and taxes in this day and age.
As long as they keep their numbers better than we do, we'll be fine. Manchineel is the tree, by the way.
424.
The Manchineel tree.
And there's 424 of them. All right, Meehan's.
That station's in Manhattan.
Meehan's, tell them about Meehan's.
Meehan's is great. Just go. Reggie is a freaking treasure. That's all I have to say about Reggie Meggs. The man's a treasure. They've got a Meehan's running team that if there's a 5K, a 2K, whatever it is, if there's a race, they're running it. Sammy Joe's in it, the whole team, and they do very well. They medal more than the American Olympic team, it seems. Mm-hmm. Outside bar, inside bar, great music. Some of the nicest people that work there, and the food is just it just gets better. I mean, look, I'm partial. I love it there. It's our favorite restaurant in St. Augustine. But you know what? Don't trust me. Go and make your own decision.
All right. St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits. They have amazing tasting tours. If you haven't been to either one of these, make sure you put them on your must-do list here in St. Augustine. You have family coming into town, and they like to do a little sipping during the day. I cannot tell you a better place to go than St. Augustine Distillery or Citygate Spirits.
I'm waiting to get some good peaches, and I'm going to do a peach shortbread, and I'm going to flambe it with the peach whiskey that they do at the St. Augustine at Citygate Spirits. Mm-hmm. Flame that up. That should be wonderful.
Flametta.
Flambe.
Flambe?
Flambe.
I thought you said flametta.
Manchineel.
Oh, okay. Now I'm confused. Doesn't take much. All right. We already talked about the oldest one out there.
Okay.
Do you have any idea how many people travel on the New York City subway daily? And it's not even in the top 3.
I don't, but it's a boatload.
5.6 million people.
At $2.90 a day, unless you get a discount or a Metro card. Absolutely.
So tell them what the top 3 are.
Well, the busiest is Shanghai, then Tokyo, then Seoul, and then Moscow. And Moscow subways are pristine. You know, Moscow has a subway car, a subway line that's a museum.
Yes, it is considered the prettiest.
Yep.
Look right here.
Yep.
Moscow, the prettiest of all subways.
Painted florals on the outside, museum exhibits on the inside. But you know what? In Paris, if you take the metro in Paris, well, first of all, you know, you get into a metro station and there are Art Nouveau entries to the metro stations. They're iconic. They're classic. People have seen them for years. And I'm going to say there were a bunch of them left. There's, of the original Paris metro entrances, I had it somewhere around here. There's a bunch of them left that are original, which is really pretty nice. Mm-hmm. But be that as it may, when you go past the Louvre station, you know, when you're in the Paris metro and you go in the tunnels, every now and again something will light up and you'll see either weird ads or displays or things. And when you get to the station of the Louvre, they have reproductions of some of their masterworks in that station. It's fabulous. Fabulous.
So how many subways do you think you've been on?
Not as many as you'd be surprised. Boston, Paris, Chicago, New York, I've still never been to London. I don't think I took the metro in Washington, and I've been to Washington a lot. Yeah, I'll throw Washington in there. I very well may have. L.A., strangely enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, and that's a frightening place to get on the subway. Because it's earthquake town.
Yeah.
Why are you digging holes in Los Angeles?
Underground.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why, you hit a fault and you bring it all down on you.
You're more concerned about that. I'd be more concerned about Miami being underground and the water, because the water tables are like 4 feet.
Well, that's why you don't have tunnels in Florida and subways in Florida.
Why
because
we don't have basements.
Yeah, I know. And I really did wanted to put in a storm cellar because of the tornadoes, but I figured if I did, a freaking tree would drop on it and I'd never be able to get out of it.
So, all right. One of the other things I have here, and I did some New York City, like fun facts about New York City.
Sure.
So, and you tell me if you know anything about these stories, because you're closer to that area than me and Blake by far.
Yep.
All right. So, in 1993,
Okay.
all right, a 16-year-old hijacked a subway. Were you there in 1993? He took it for a joyride for 3 hours.
I was in New York in 1993.
Did you know anything about this story?
Not that I remember.
Okay. You were drinking a lot then, weren't you?
What do you mean then?
In 93.
Yeah.
More than now.
Okay.
I bet you were drinking more then than you do now.
Well,
Probably about the same. You work less now, so maybe not.
Well, that was back in the 70-hour weekdays. I might have been.
Yeah. So,
But you know what? There's just some great stops in New York, and there's a couple of dead stops in New York too. When you go down to South Street Seaport, which is the end of the line, you take the you take the 1 all the way down to the South Street to South Ferry, not the South Street, South Ferry, which is the ferry terminal that will take you to Staten Island.
Okay.
And that's where it ends, and then it comes around, and and you got some of these things that the mechanics are from 18 God knows when.
1912, I think, is when the big expansion took place.
The train stops and you hear and a platform comes out to meet the train to cover the gap. Wild stuff.
So evidently, the 16-year-old
16-year-old, yeah.
studied all the subways, the routes, and stuff like that. And he figured out which one he would be able to work through and get through. He rode this thing for 3 hours before they got him.
How do you stop them?
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of hard to stop a train.
It's like there was an old movie called The Taking of Pelham 123,
Okay.
which was a robbery flick, and their getaway car was the subway.
Yeah.
They didn't get away.
Yeah.
Taking of Pelham 123. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's got to end at some point.
Yeah.
The rail
well,
runs
you're
out.
not getting out, right?
Yeah, the rail runs out at some
it's
point.
a big circle.
And I didn't realize this, that a lot of people don't realize on the front of trains, the little V that's on the front.
Yeah, cow catcher.
Okay. People didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
I called it a cow catcher, and no one in the room knew what it was.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, how do you not know what that is?
In Australia, they're rhubars.
Blake, have you heard that term before?
I have not.
What was that?
I have not.
You know how there's a V on the front of the older trains and stuff?
Yes.
Like the steam trains, and there's that like metal,
looks
metal
like
part. It kind of looks like
a John Deere plow.
yeah, it
Yes.
looks like a plow. Yeah, that's called a cow catcher, and it was because of the bison and the cows and stuff like that that would get on the tracks, and then they get stuck up underneath the train, and instead of that happening, they just got thrown off with a cow catcher.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
it really,
Very effective.
It really didn't catch a cow; it killed the cow.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it was euphemism. It was a euphemism.
Well, I mean, and and a lot of people don't realize this. If a cow got hit by that, you know what the cow was called then?
Lunch.
Ground beef.
There you go. Blake just cringed.
Dad joke of the night. That's all I got.
That was a good one.
That's all I
That
got.
was a good
That's all I
one.
got. That's all I got.
So, by the way, that, in the hermit state of North Korea, there's a subway in Pyongyang, capital of North Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how much it cost?
Free.
No, don't be silly. 5 North Korean won.
Oh.
You know what that translates to American money?
I don't know, but I know it. If two guys are playing basketball with that same name, they'd be 1-on-1.
What happens if
So how many?
Second dad joke for the day.
I've used that one in the morning show already, so I can't count it.
Half a cent.
Half a cent.
Half a cent. Half a cent American.
5 one's a half a cent.
5 North Korean won is a half American cent, and that's the cost of a subway wide in Pyongyang.
A subway wide?
Wide. Thank you. One wabbits. One wabbits.
Rascally wabbit.
Okay. I mean, it's one of the busier ones, too, because they just pack them in there. You ever see any videos of people getting on a subway in Tokyo?
I've been on a subway in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And let me tell you, we were crowded after the Yankee game.
Yeah.
It was tight.
Yeah,
But we
Blake
were
was
up
not
against the
happy.
wall. We were tight. And Blake's taller than me, so I'm looking at his back and Aiden's back. I mean, so I'm short is not good for subway. First, you got to hold up really
tell me about
high, really high, and your face is in someone's body part you don't want to be in. So being short on a subway is never good.
Right.
But I can tell you, in Hong Kong, because we went from Hong Kong over to Kowloon on the subway, and we don't know crowded. It was extremely clean.
Right.
But we talk about subways being crowded. We're talking it's 20 deep, and when those doors open, it's just a rush. And if you don't go with the crowd, you're getting run over by the crowd. And that's, I mean, and in Hong Kong, I was one of the taller people.
Well, I just remember seeing videos of the subways in Tokyo, which is the second busiest one, and the doors are, and there's people there that are just, their job is to just shove people into the train. They just force them. I mean, I hate to try to get out, but they're shoving people into the train. Fascinating.
All right. 2 of my other New York City subway, because that's the one that you know the most about.
I've told you this before, and I've referenced this. I was working days. I was cooking down on Wall Street breakfast and lunch, so I had my nights free. And I went to 40 of the 81 home games at Shea Stadium one year.
Okay.
By the time the games were over, it was me and Darryl Strawberry in right field. And you think I ever got a freaking foul ball? No. I mean, I had the entire section to myself, not one.
Yeah.
But I would take the 7 train from where I lived. I lived in the West Village. Take the subway up to Times Square, get on the 7 train, take it all the way out to Shea Stadium, get there, and then do it in reverse. And the trick was, if the game was really sucky, I'd be waiting by the exit, game was over, and I'd bolt, and the trick was getting onto the first car of the first subway train back into the city. Otherwise, you had to deal with everybody else coming out of the stadium.
All right, we were in right field, and Blake,
Yankee Stadium.
What spring training game were we at? When I moved your brother out of the chair and onto the.
It was a Astros Phillies game. We were in Clearwater, Florida.
We were in Clearwater, Florida. All right, and this is when Ty had broken his hip.
Ouch.
So he was in a wheelchair. I had just moved him onto the blanket because they have the lawns in right field on the spring training game. Beautiful little stadiums and stuff like that. Blake and I was helping Blake come back from the concession stand or something like that, and we see this ball coming and it's headed right for Ty. So I start taking off, and I'll be damned if that ball doesn't get wedged in Ty's wheelchair.
Nice.
If I hadn't moved him out of the wheelchair, it'd hit him right in the face.
Ow.
No. From where the ball was at, where the ball was going, it would have hit him like where the leg would have been at, or
it would have hit him right close to where his hip would have been.
Oh,
where he just
broken
his
hip.
Yeah. So but it got wedged in the little crevice right there. So it would hit him. Hit him.
So Ty got a foul ball.
But honestly,
he'd have been a soprano.
But honestly, it would have been worse. It was also a little bit worse because I wasn't helping you with concessions. I was trying to get one of the home run balls, and I failed.
That's right. So, but I mean, it was just like so ironic. I literally just moved him like a minute or two before because he was like, okay, I want to sit down there and not in the chair.
Okay.
And but when we took him with the chair, everyone gave him baseballs.
Oh, nice.
So, he's, autistic kid in a wheelchair, he gets a lot of sympathy. So, okay. and he ate it up.
Good for him. Good job.
So, but you were talking about it being in right field, and you said that.
Man,
that was immediately.
for games.
That's the story that came immediately to mind as Ty's wheelchair story.
Closest we got was a T-shirt from a T-shirt cannon.
Well,
it did not have the Delta tickets in that one.
Well, we actually were underneath the Aaron Judge 500 or 480-foot home run.
I saw that
he
on the
hit
game you went
Friday
to.
night.
Oh, my God, what
gosh,
a
it was
monster
bomb.
shot. Oh, man.
It went right over top of us.
He's just a specimen. He's just, there's no way around it. The man is,
I bet he can bench 225.
he can, he's a big boy.
Right. Another thing, did you know there used to be a Miss Subway in New York City?
Yes.
Okay. They used to have her posted in the subway in the 70s. Do you remember? Do you remember the Miss Subway posters?
in the 70s, I was in my teens, but I remember the concept. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it stopped in 76. It went from 1940.
Yeah, I didn't move into the city. I didn't live in the city until 1981.
Okay. Yeah, it went from 41 to 76, and it was evidently a big deal in New York to be Miss Subway.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd never heard of it until I started doing my read.
Subways are big in New York.
All right, do you know what they do with the old subway cars coming out of New York City?
Make them reefs.
Yes, artificial
They make
reefs.
them reefs.
Artificial
Yes.
reefs off the coast of New Jersey and Delaware.
Yep.
So
Good for the fish.
They take a ton of them out. Well, there's no oil. There's none of that really to deal with like you do in a lot of other vehicles.
Right.
So they take them out. They become artificial reefs, fish habitat for
Breakwaters. Yep. Good for the environment. Good for the shoreline
but
protection.
I didn't know that until today.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, and the last one, the IRT. Okay.
Yep.
The IRT was, privately owned at one time, and the owner of the IRT had his own subway car at one point. It was like a luxury car, like Henry Flagler had on his railway.
Or James West and Artemis Gordon.
Yeah, a little different. By the way, the movie, they need to redo that movie.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
I like the original show.
Yeah.
I don't know how Robert Conway kept wearing those high-waisted pants. I mean,
so
how
tight.
he wasn't a soprano is beyond me.
How it's so tight.
It was high.
He had to put those things on every morning?
I'm telling you. And they was really.
Yeah.
I guess the chicks digged it, but man, that must have hurt.
I think he was closer to the statue size here.
Yeah, he was
Constantine than the actual.
big heels. You ever see him? Big heels.
yeah.
Why do you think they kept bringing Michael Dunn in to play the bad guy, the little
Somebody they
dwarfy
believed
guy?
he could actually beat up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it would be a battle between him and Tom Cruise. So,
But it was just another thought in and out of my fleeting brain.
all right.
Come back.
So, what other? One of the things the pneumatic subway
Right.
was started in like 69 to 70 in New York.
Right.
When they were digging in the 1890s, I'm talking 1869, 1879, the pneumatic was a concept that was out there and that was trying in New York. But when they were digging in the 1890s, early 1900s, they ran into, when they were digging into the pneumatic subway. Do you know anything about that story at all?
Not a whole lot. I just saw a pneumatic somewhere. That's what I'm looking to see because I think I wrote it down because I spelled pneumatic wrong. I'm sure.
Yeah. Starts with a P. I'm pretty sure.
Oh no, it was the pneumatic tubes for the caissons that they use the pneumatics to pump the air out and regulate the pressure in the caissons for the sandhogs.
Yes.
So I'm not familiar with the pneumatic
so they
tubes
tried
in the
to
subway.
use air to push the subways, and there were tubes, and they were really tight. They remind me when I looked at the picture, and Blake, if you can find the pneumatic subway of New York City, it reminds me of.
I'm trying to remember because it was the guy who invented that used the pneumatic tubes for something else first, which is where they got the idea.
It might have been, and I know this guy didn't live to see the subways in the late 1890s, but it reminds me of the tree that sits out front in front of Ripley's.
Yeah,
it looks like that. And I couldn't get that out of my head when I was looking at it. And if Blake can find that picture,
that's a big ass tree house. Yeah.
But I mean, you'd sit like close to close. It looked it looked like a little submarine, and it was just like a tube that you would shoot through. Never really. There's the concept right there.
Whoa. Okay. Well, it's interesting because the fastest subway is the one in Shanghai, and that's a maglev.
Okay, what does that mean?
Magnetic levitation.
Oh, okay.
So it floats
hovers
above the track. Exactly.
Okay, it hovers.
Yeah. And that goes.
It's like the bullet trains.
Yeah.
Okay.
The maglev goes. It's 460.
Oh, there you go. That's a better picture.
460 kilometers an hour.
There you go.
Yeah. Ooh.
So.
Okay. It's a little Jules Verne.
Yeah.
It looks like Jules Verne would figure that. Yeah, absolutely. But 460 kilometers an hour in the Shanghai train. Yeah.
460 kilometers per hour. That
Yep.
would be over.
That'd be fast.
Yeah, it's almost 200 miles an hour.
That's fast. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be almost 200 miles an hour. Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
how fast that thing goes?
460, and it's and again, it's not on the track. It's
That's so wild.
yeah,
Well, it has no
friction.
friction.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Amazing
Wow.
concept, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
Science and technology.
It stays in motion.
Inertia.
And that's,
Yeah.
unless,
One of Newton's laws.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless acted upon. And if it doesn't have anything to act upon it, I guess
It keeps
flows
going.
easier.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild stuff. All right. What else you got over there? Did we get through your notes?
Well, I got some fun stuff back here. Well, New York has the most stations, somewhere between
424
424 and 72. Exactly. Good memory. Helsinki is the northernmost. Buenos Aires is the southernmost. Moscow, we talked about museum train. London is the oldest, 1863, a mere 272 stations, and 253 miles of track, or 407 kilometers. The deepest we discussed is in Kiev.
Or Kiev.
Yeah, well, if you're making chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I'm wondering how often they were using that as a freaking, airplane, air raid shelter nowadays. Whew.
I don't know if it was there in World War II. I think Kiev came.
No, it was 1960. No, I'm talking about now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about now, not even in World War II. World War II, they were relatively, compared to what's going on now,
Yeah.
poof.
Well, bombs weren't as good.
That's true, too.
Or
Yeah.
as accurate.
Yeah, blockbusters. In Prague, there's station colors in the subway in Prague that relate to what's on top. So there's a garden, some botanical gardens. So that station is green. The Royal Palace, it's purple.
Yeah,
A museum was brown for whatever reason. So the colors correspond to what is above the stop when you get off in Prague.
I think the other thing I saw that before we get in, because we're coming close to the end, is if you lined up all the tracks in the New York City, it would get you all the way to Chicago.
That's all?
If you put it all the way in a line, it would get you to Chicago.
Okay. I'd go to Chicago. I like Chicago. I keep saying that.
Yeah, I think it was 660 something miles. So that's
Shanghai's the busiest. I think this was in London.
even though it's below, it's not high.
No. A couple of guys hit all the stations in the London Underground, and it took them 15 hours, 45 minutes, and 38 seconds is the fastest time anybody did every stop in the London Underground.
Wouldn't you be limited to whatever the schedule is?
I don't know.
A record.
I don't know.
I mean, to tie the record, wouldn't you just have to stay on the train?
Well, I think they tried to get to every station as quickly as they could. I don't think they were trying to ride it the longest.
Okay.
Because there's some, I'm sure there was sad.
Jump off, go over, and
Yeah, considering the fact that the New York subway never closes. The New York subway is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I am sure there are some record-setting, sadly, I mean, tragically sadly, unhoused people that have broken New York City subway riding records just to be indoors.
yeah. Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Okay, because you were in New York as a fairly young man. Mm-hmm. You were in your early 20s, right?
When I lived in the city,
Yeah. You were in your early 20s. Approximately how many times do you think you jumped the turnstiles?
Never.
Not once.
Never.
Okay. See, I would have a financially bad day or something like that, and I think I might try it.
Never.
But you never did.
Nope.
Is it because you're vertically challenged and your jumping ability was never?
No, because I could have limboed under.
Oh, you could have went under.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
You never went under or over.
Because my parents raised me well, and
Okay,
and
well,
and
congratulations.
I love my parents to death.
We had somebody who was walking beside us who went over to the emergency and just stepped right over, and I was
Yep.
like, oh,
Oh
gosh.
man, it's one of the biggest
Did you see
problems
that
in the New
guy?
York subway system.
Blake?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're trying to crack down on fair cheaters.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, you've got those gates, the exit gates. So they open and you walk in through the exit gate. Yeah, no.
But it's so much easier now. I mean, even with the
I know.
through.
No. I pay my fair share.
I mean, you could-
No. I don't save my lottery tickets. I could have had shoeboxes full of losing lottery tickets, and you could only take gambling losses off against your gambling wins.
Okay.
You know what? When I win the Powerball and support, Home Again,
Home Again.
please,
I think
worthy charity.
One of the two of us is going to win this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
feel
will
it.
pay my fair share of taxes. I will be very gracious and pay my
I
fair
will
share of
gladly
taxes
pay
without hesitation.
I will call Kresge, Aber Kresge
Mm-hmm.
and Associates to do my taxes at that point and make sure I'm saving everything I possibly can.
Well, you
but
know
I will pay my taxes.
And I'll tell you what, because I am a Florida resident,
Mm-hmm.
and if I win, I will be required to deal with the Florida issues here. There's no state sales tax. There may be some ramification. I might have to use Aber Kresge and Associates as opposed to my New York accountant who can handle my taxes because I don't have state
I will
taxes.
strongly suggest that you call him, make room in the car going to Tallahassee for my
Oh,
man.
absolutely. Whoa, it's party.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my friend Shaniqua, who sells me my lottery tickets at Winn-Dixie. She's coming with us.
Yeah, Vinny's my guy.
Okay.
My guy Vinny, he's going with us too.
All right. We'll get a big. We'll get one of them limo Hummers. We'll get a big one.
How about you win like Friday night and I win Saturday night? I don't even know what the big one is.
No,
but
I'll
take
do
what-
Saturday. I only play the Powerball. I don't play the Mega Millions.
You
or
don't
the
play the
lottery.
Mega Millions?
Nah, I just stick on the Powerball
All
now.
right, so I'll win the Mega Millions. You win the Power.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
Ooh,
So-
we got a plan here.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah, we're gonna take care of those sponsors big time.
Oh yeah. Ooh, man, that's Reggie.
Yeah.
We need the store.
Yeah.
Right. We need we
next
need the
week.
room. Right. Exactly.
For the next week, you're gonna do okay,
Absolutely.
Rich.
Oh man.
All right. You know what? We're out of time, but what do you got? You got one.
I got Budapest is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The subway in Budapest is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Okay, tell me what that means.
Well, UNESCO World Heritage Sites are things that are of cultural, anthropological, or architectural importance around the world.
Okay.
Angkor Wat, places like that, the Taj Mahal. So the Budapest subway is. It was built in 1896.
Okay. 1897. That's an
Yeah,
old one.
yeah,
All right. All right. Guys, I want to say thank you. Please go out there and support our sponsors. If you haven't already, please hit that share button. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents. You got friends, tell them to look us up on YouTube because Blake's going to make sure everything's loaded up like he always does.
Right.
Because he's the best producer in the world. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Lenny.
Pleasure as always.
We'll see you next week, 6:34.
Yep.